So many parents could be counting down the days now to their half-term break. I think just over a week, isn't it? But according to Booking.com, warmer weather does not necessarily equate to a warmer welcome.
Well, what they have done, Booking.com, is compiled a list of the most welcoming places on earth, right? Somewhere where you're guaranteed a warm welcome. And here to tell us where those places are and how they've decided on this is travel expert Simon Calder. So it's a number of effects. What constitutes a warm welcome?
OK, well, basically, Booking.com have gone through over 240 million reviews that people who've stayed in places have left and calculated those places which issued the warmest welcome and looked at how towns and cities are placed in terms of the proportion of great reviews. And extraordinarily, York is right up there in the top 10 worldwide. And I think even more interesting, possibly, is what's happening in the UK. Kirkwall in Orkney is absolutely top of the list. Pitlochry in the Highlands also there. But 4 locations in Northern Ireland.
4?
Yep. Enniskillen in County Fermanagh, Ballycastle, of course, County Antrim, beautiful resort. Newcastle, County Down, and Newry in County Down are all there. Couple in Lincolnshire, Cleethorpes and Stamford, very different sides of the county, very different places, but both gorgeous. And then finally in Somerset, Frome and Glastonbury. So clearly they are doing the things right there. And the other interesting aspect of this survey is that people are absolutely enthusiastic about travelling. After 3 years of COVID, they're saying we're going to go for it this year.
I look at the list of the most welcoming destinations in the world, so broadening it beyond the UK, and I have to say I'm absolutely gobsmacked by the list. As you say, York, great that it's in there. But Klaipėda, Lithuania,
beautiful on the coast.
Yeah,
that was a beautiful town on
the capital,
on the Baltic coast. No, capital is Vilnius, but Klaipėda, a lovely Baltic location. Exactly, Baltic is the key here. Ushuaia, down in the southern tip of Argentina. Again, a bit breezy, but very, very welcoming. You've also got Mexico City, one of my absolute favourite destinations. And then lovely San Sebastian in Spain, not one of the most popular resorts, but actually a glorious city on the north coast, on the Bay of Biscay, full of fantastic places to eat, as well as clearly very welcoming places to stay.
Yeah, I am absolutely thrilled at the Northern Irish representation in all of this. You know, for only 1.5 million people to live there and 4 nominations in all of this is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So,
and 2 in Somerset as well, which is.
Sorry, we're on the Northern Ireland.
Oh,
sorry,
right.
we don't care about Somerset, right? So basically, if you're Irish, come into the parlour. There's a welcome there for you, as the song goes.
Yes,
and that's the whole thing. People will say when they visit Northern Ireland, they will say, we had a really good time. Everybody was so friendly, as if people are more standoffish in other places. But I think a lot of it's got to do with alcohol, personally.
Oh, well, you see, there's nothing quite like a pint in one of the fantastic pubs in Belfast. But I just find it is just a natural thing that people in Northern Ireland are just... every time I go there, I'm heading there again this coming weekend to Belfast. Of course, yes, it's just a great place, and it is the unsung part of the nation of the UK where, yes, Wales is fantastic, Scotland beautiful, England too, but Northern Ireland, people simply don't go in the numbers that the country deserves.
People think we fight all the time there, but you see, it's just that we hate each other. We love everybody else. It's only ourselves we can't get on.
I just realised, actually, it's got representation from Northern Ireland, Scotland and England, but nothing in Wales. And the Welsh are incredibly well.
Oh, yes.
I'm really surprised that there's no Welsh.
Yeah, well, clearly the competition was strong. And the great thing about competition is that next year's Booking.com survey, I'm sure there will be a lot of people in some of those beautiful Welsh towns and cities who will be who will be there.
A lot of these British destinations are connected by the airline Flybe, which again have gone into receivership. It's folded for the second time in, what, a year or so?
3 years ago, actually. In March 2020, they went bust just as the COVID pandemic was beginning. Yes, really serious news for a number of communities. Belfast, George Best Belfast City Airport will see a lot of flights cancelled today. Places like Newquay, it was about 1/3 of their business. And this is going to be really troublesome. Almost 300 flights this week due to be operated by Flybe. That's over 20,000 seats. But the trouble was for Flybe, many of those 20,000 seats were empty, and they simply couldn't make a go of it. The administrators have closed everything down. You're being told don't go to the airport until you've got another flight. There's rescue flights on EasyJet, on British Airways, and coming up on Ryanair as well. They basically just say, give us 50 quid and we'll fly you if you were a Flybe customer.
Yeah. So what happens if Flybe have your money? Do they keep that, or how do you get it back?
Most people will have paid with a card direct to the airline, and they will be able to get it back. If you went through an agent or you booked it as part of a holiday, it's more complicated than that. But just call your bank, and the money will be back, hopefully sooner rather than later. The banks are kind of expecting lots of calls today.
Another consequence of Brexit, which will not be publicised much, and that is that Aer Lingus have been forced to pull out of Belfast, where they would connect to London, they would connect to Manchester, they would connect to places in Scotland. And why is that? Tell us why that's happened.
Well, the Civil Aviation Authority has strict rules on the ownership of airlines that can fly within the UK. Aer Lingus, which clearly is a very good Irish airline based in the Republic, has been for years shuttling between Belfast City and London Heathrow. They were told, you've got to stop because of Brexit. You don't meet the ownership requirements, and therefore British Airways, which is actually a sister airline in IAG, has effectively stepped in. So, for example, I booked my flight with Aer Lingus for this coming weekend, but I'm actually going to be on a British Airways plane. But anything which reduces competition and choice is clearly not a great thing.
Not a great thing. But this list is a great thing. The most welcoming destinations on planet Earth. Thank you very much indeed, Simon. Thank you.
Right, after the break, we'll be speaking to the Health Minister, Helen Whately, and we'll be going through the papers with Dawn Neeson and Nigel Nelson. We'll see you in a sec.